I've always been one of those people that believe that home is where the heart is. There's no place like home. But what if you're homeless?
The next thing I knew, I got a phone call on a Friday night, and it's the hospital that's calling. So he says, your son is, he's been in a car accident. He's okay. Okay, when people say okay, what does that mean? You know, people say save up for a rainy day. Well, I did. It just rained longer than I had days, right?
So I was living pretty good, and all of a sudden, when the market fell, homes stopped selling. So I got to the point where I was breaking into empty trailers during the winter months just to stay warm. I was embarrassed. I look up and down the street to see if I knew anybody before I ran into a food bank or a soup line. I couldn't get benefits because you gotta have an address.
But I was offered a position within the culinary industry as a corporate trainer. So I moved out here expecting to have a job secured. And when I got here, there had been a miscommunication between the management, and the position was given to somebody else. That was devastating. There wasn't any going back. There wasn't anything to go back to.
I mean, at the time I was working at United Airlines. We applied for housing immediately, but application after application, we were either denied or disqualified. The most humiliating part of it, I think, too, was seeing my children go through this. They didn't deserve it. Having to prepare for school was awful. Sometimes when their clothes were wet, they ended up wearing the same thing to school for 2 and 3 days. Homelessness, it's hurtful. It's painful, it's sad and lonely, it's stressful and humiliating. And that's just to name a few.
What can other people do to help those experiencing homelessness? I always say they can ask. Ask the person that's homeless how they became homeless. Don't assume.
Now, anybody in their right mind would have said enough is enough. But being in an abusive relationship, you go back and forth until one day, by the grace of God, he actually left me. And the catch was he left me with all the bills because everything was in my name.
We say, "Oh, I know that story," but you really don't. You really don't.
I think it's hidden because it's not talked about, you know. It's going to be hidden if we don't talk about it.
It's like I'm an oak table and it's got all these layers of ugly paint on it. And every time I share my story, one of those layers of ugly paint comes off.
We all human. We all brothers and sisters, and we all should stick together.
Seeing people and being involved are the two biggest things I think that people can really start doing to make a difference.
And in this way, we can do it together. We can make a difference together. Because that is what it's going to take. It's going to take all of us participating. And as we do it, We'll see change. But you know what? We've got a lot of work to do.